Hi there, Michelle here. If you've been following my channel lately, you know that I've been dealing with a little bit of a situation, root mealies. They are the invisible enemy of the Hoya world, and honestly, they can be a bit of a nightmare. In my recent video, a lot of you noticed something that sparked a great conversation about potting mat hygiene. Some of you were worried about cross-contamination when I was repotting infected plants. You know what? You were absolutely right to ask. So today we're going to slow down and do a deep dive into eradicating root mealies. We aren't just talking about how to kill the pests. We are talking about how the strict protocols I'm going to implement will help keep the rest of the collection safe. I'm also going to cover the new Michelle standard for keeping my potting area clean. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider supporting me by either liking the video or subscribing to my channel. Both of those options really help me out. And if you'd like to join in this particular conversation, please put a comment below. I read and respond to all comments, so you'll get a reply as soon as I can. And now, let's go ahead and start the video. To understand and eliminate root mealies, you first need to start with biology. Hoya roots are unique. Unlike aroids or most aroids, Hoya species have these incredibly fine, almost hair-like root systems, especially the secondary roots. These are experts at seeking out the moisture in tiny crevices, but that also makes them perfect buffet for root mealies. Now there are over 600 different species of mealybugs. They are supposed to be segregated in their location. The above ground were supposed to stay above ground, and the root mealies were supposed to stay underground. But I will say that I have seen root mealies can and do venture in and out of the soil and onto the plant and off the roots. They can spread everywhere. They thrive on dry pockets of soil. That's why watering habits matter so much. We often hear, let the Hoya dry out. But if you let them stay too dry for too long, you're actually kind of rolling out the red carpet for these pests. They suck the life out of your plant from the bottom up, which can explain why Hoya might not be growing in your care, even if the light, fertilizer, and watering are perfect. Now, when you see white waxy residue or small little fluffy dots in your substrate or on the sides of your pot, that's the very telltale sign of an active root mealy colony. If you use perlite, especially the big box store brands, perlite particles can actually look a lot like root mealies. To tell the two apart, you have to do the squish test. Put on a glove if you like, but squish the little white area. If it immediately collapses and disintegrates, it's a root mealy. If it feels crunchy, it's a piece of perlite. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, my cross-contamination. I read your comments and I hear you. When I'm dealing with a pest that lives in soil, my potting mat is literally a highway for infection. So I would like to tell you the protocol I'm using now. The first is containing the soil. Instead of keeping contaminated soil on the mat, I'm going to transfer that to a pot, and that will hold the contaminated soil, so it's no longer on my potting mat. The second step is tools and mat sterilization. Each time I move between plants, every pair of shears and every piece of equipment get a spray of 70% isopropyl alcohol. No exceptions. And the same thing goes for the mat. I will spray down the mat between each plant. The third is the isolation zone. If I suspect root mealies, that plant doesn't even touch the main plants until it's been treated and had the pests removed. Now, if you find root mealies, don't panic. I've seen people say you have to throw away the entire plant, and you definitely do not have to do that, even in the worst infestations. You do have to be aggressive, however. Now, you don't have to immediately cut up the plant. There is a treatment protocol I use to save the plant, at least in the beginning. If it does need further root mealy eradication, then I take it further, and we'll go over that in a minute. Now, I use a 3-step process to treat my Hoya. The first step is the soak. I use a systemic drench to water the Hoya in. After it's already been watered, you make sure that the substrate is damp before adding the alcohol drench. That allows it to penetrate further and get in the roots faster. The next step is a spray. If the infestation is bad, we're actually going to spray the roots with straight rubbing alcohol. Yes, it can cause some root dieback or some issues, but it's much better than losing the whole plant, and it's worth it to try to save the intact plant, especially if it's a large one. If it's a small one, you may want to move to the next step, which is the fresh start. You want to move it to a brand new mix, ensuring that the substrate is completely pest-free, that hopefully those roots going in there will be pest-free as well. Now let's talk about the part that everyone dreads, the treatment. Many of you told me that if you find root mealies, you might as well chop off all the roots and start the plant over from cuttings. Now I get that fear. I've been there. But before you reach for the shears, I want to talk to you about a more measured approach. We can save these plants, but we have to be thorough. The first step is to clean off as much substrate as possible. You don't have to wash the roots off, but you should try to get the roots as free of substrate as possible. And you don't have to do that by dunking them in water. And the second step is spray the plant. If the infestation is visible around the sides of the pot, I know I need to remove as many pests as possible. So I spray those cleaned off roots thoroughly with 70% isopropyl alcohol. Again, I'm removing the waxy protection that mealies create on their bodies for themselves. Without that coating, they are much easier to eradicate. Now the final step is a systemic treatment. This is the heavy hitter. For root mealies, sometimes spraying the roots alone isn't enough because they can reach every pocket or crevice of those roots or plant stems and petioles. For this step, I personally use a professional strength imidacloprid-based insecticide, but you can also use Bonide or Bonide systemic granules if they're available in your area. I mix up a batch of this in a gallon of water, and I either spray the roots as it's in the pot, or I take the plant out of the pot and dunk it into the systemic mix. This is called a root drench. You can keep that plant in there for about 20 minutes, but that's all. Now, when you do this, the Hoya absorbs the chemical directly through its root and then moves it to the tissue. When a mealybug bites the plant, it's game over. For a severe case or for a speed boost in pest elimination, I spray the leaves and stems of the plant also. The Hoya will absorb the chemical through translaminar action, and this is a faster way than a root soak to distribute all the insecticide to all the plant. Now, if this doesn't work, and I haven't seen it not work for me so far, I will mix up a large batch of insecticide and will do the root soak. I will dunk the roots, the whole plant, substrate and all, into the root soak, into the systemic for about 20 minutes, like I said earlier. This ensures the chemical makes contact with those root mealies immediately, and it also establishes long-term plant protection by, like I said, wicking up into the whole plant through the roots. That will keep the plant active with insecticide for up to 6 months. That's a particular of the Dominion 2L. Yours may last a little longer or a little shorter. I don't think Bonne's systemic granules are that long. Now finally, once the plant is repotted into its clean, chunky mixture and is put in a transparent pot, I keep a close eye on that plant. After the trauma of spraying the roots with rubbing alcohol and the other treatments as needed, the roots are very vulnerable to rot and the plant can have issues right away. So you want to go ahead and keep an eye for yellowing leaves, dropping leaves, brown leaves, and leaves that are much thinner or more pliable than they ever have. If any of these happen, I will unpot the plant and check the roots. If the roots are not doing well, this is when I will chop up the plant into cuttings, remove the roots, and start the plant from scratch. Now, a pot full of cuttings will eventually turn into a pot full of plants with long vines. So keep that in mind. You may have a smaller plant for a couple of months until it starts growing vines, but when you get to that stage, you will not believe how large and bushy your Hoya will be. It will be short-term pain for long-term gain. Now, for the most part, these 3 steps are my guide. I know you might feel that this is a lot of work, but looking at your Hoya, I hope you feel that it's worth it. Unfortunately, part of the Hoya journey is learning how to control pests. I want to thank you for being my extra set of eyes and ears during my videos. Your comments keep me sharp, and they also help all of us grow better plants. I love to hear in the comments, what's your #1 rule for keeping your plant space free of pests, and what is your treatment protocol for root mealies? Thank you so much for staying and watching until the end. I know that you have a lot of pressing things that occupy your free time, so I really appreciate that you chose to spend some of it with me today. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
On the sill by the sink, 3 pots in a row, wrestle by the blue cup, pull those trailing low. You lean in to check them like they know your name.